Let's get to it, guys. It's time for the Bob Ryan, Jeff Goodman, Tanguay along for the ride podcast, Zoomcast, however you consume it. We do appreciate it. Driven by our partners at Athletic Greens. Feel better, look better with Athletic Greens. Let's get to some big news, guys, off the top. Was there a Simmons sighting? Oh, my God. Can he play? He was actually in a Brooklyn Nets uniform, played for the Nets last night, 6 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. Said that he felt good after the game. Your thoughts, Bob, on the return of Mr. Simmons?
I'm trying to decide if I do owe him a public apology. I don't know yet. Do I owe him a public apology? Having, seen more stuff from him, been reading the New York papers, and they've been gushing all over him as far as what he's going to contribute to the Nets. Nash has been slobbering all over how wonderful he's going to be and everything else. And Simmons is talking about, the whole mental health thing is what I'm getting at. If it's simply a matter of a legitimate mental health issue that he has, that put him on the outs in Philadelphia, and not just being a jerk, then I obviously owe him an apology. Are you prepared to go that far, Jeff? That say we're just going to lay it on that, and he's got no, we don't have any culpability here on him and his behavior.
I wasn't as harsh on him as you were, I don't know if I owe him a public apology like you do, Bob, but listen, I think part of it was the mental health, and I think part of it was the back injury. I do. I mean, obviously, I think he would have been out there in the Boston series if he could have been, and he felt. A lot of guys these days are kind of taught, unless you're 100%, don't risk it. There's too much money at stake these days, these contracts, right? Like Ben Simmons, when he's at his best, might be the fastest 6'9" guy from end to end with the ball in his hands in the NBA. And as I said, when they got him, he fits. If Kyrie is out there, if KD is out there, what better player to pair with those two than a pass first dude who can run with anybody, who can rebound, get it off the glass, and go. And yes, I know your biggest issue, and it's my biggest issue with him too. He can't shoot the basketball. But if you put him with 4 guys who can, Bob, maybe it can work.
And Joe Harris makes 3. He's back after missing a year. And that's the only reason he's out there is the opposite reason why Simmons is out there. Simmons is out there to pass the ball, and Harris is out there to do nothing more than shoot the ball. I saw some numbers that I didn't realize. I mean, this modern age of statistical world and analytical world that we live in never ceases to amaze me. It turns out that there is a annotation about how many people set up threes for people, and that Simmons, of course, is the leading 3-point setter-upper around.
He'll be even better this year.
Yeah. So that being the case, and if all other things are equal, which of course with the Nets they certainly were not last year, then yes, he is a very intriguing fit for them.
Well, I mean, if it does work, and if he's able to maintain his passion for the game, and we certainly hope that he feels good in all aspects. Look out, man. I mean, look out. I mean, this team goes to the top of the line with Milwaukee.
Right. There's 3 big ifs, though, Gary.
Oh,
3 big ifs.
Yeah.
Mentally and physically, with all 3 of their top players, you have 6 ifs total, right? Yeah. 3 mental, 3 physical. Now, what I will say, too, with Ben Simmons that he gives them is an elite defender playing alongside one of the worst defenders in the NBA at the guard position, Kyrie Irving.
Well, it'll be interesting. And once again, Mr. Nash is going to have to earn his money as he
Poor guy. Poor guy.
Well, poor guy, but, he –
is it worth it? Nash made enough money. Is it really worth? If you're Steve Nash right now,
it's not about the money. It's about
go run a soccer team, coach a soccer team. It's got to be easier.
Or maybe play. No,
it's about getting out of the house.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. It's about getting out of the house. They don't know what else to do. I will say this, that for the game, what you mentioned, and a game that we all love, is that if you have a pass-oriented offense, it's just a pleasure to watch.
Yeah.
And it's just so much fun to watch. And we've seen it work. And when it works and people win titles, and you've seen it with Golden State, you've seen it with the Lakers in the past, you've seen it with the Celtics. It's just from that aspect, I'm glad to see this, because it's going to set a tone, and other teams will do it. They'll go, look what the Nets are doing. Yes. And that's the basketball we love to watch.
I don't know. I mean, again, I think you got a lot of question marks here, but what I will say is, if you put out a lineup of healthy KD, Kyrie, Ben Simmons, Joe Harris, and Seth Curry.
Yeah.
Like,
well, right? I always think when, but just to maybe get off track a little bit, when Bob mentioned, or Jeff, you said that he can't shoot the ball. I always think of Rajon Rondo and what a wasted career that was, because Rajon could have been the greatest point guard without a shot ever. And now we may be saying that about Simmons, where Rondo was magical.
It was different basketball. Huh? Like, Rondo eventually did at least shoot the three, or tried to.
Yeah, he did, but it wasn't necessary.
Ben won't try it. And that's the baffling. Like, you would watch Rondo in practice, preseason warmups even, and he'd make a bunch of threes. And you'd be like, all right, why isn't he shooting it? He would. They dare him. They play him at the foul line. He would shoot it and basically take it upon himself to say, F you. I'm going to show you at times when you disrespect me. Ben Simmons doesn't do that. If they play him at the foul line, Ben Simmons still wants to drive it instead of shooting. And I've never understood it. Because, again, I've seen him play for about 10 years now. I've never understood how somebody hasn't found a way to push the button to say, hey, Ben, if you're not shooting the three, you're not playing. You're not playing. Like, we're not playing you because we can't win in the postseason unless you show you can at least make, an open three.
It's not just a three. It's any face-up shot at all.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not just a three.
Could be a 5-footer.
Right.
And it's non-layups we're talking about. And he's a unique. I mean, seriously, all kidding aside, this is a unique commodity. I respect the strengths. He does have enormous respect as a defensive player. He can push the ball. He has assets, and it's just an amazing plus minus that unlike anything we've ever seen to the extreme that it exists. I mean, there have been other players, obviously, who are better out there because of their defense as opposed to their offense, and vice versa. But the extremes of both are unprecedented in NBA history.
Well, I'm gonna see if I can get Bob Ryan to really blush on this one. But is it crazy to think that if this guy did have a jump shot, that he could be a poor man's Magic?
I was hoping that's exactly where I was going. And as you were speaking, we'd be talking about Magic. If I think possibly, at least that, right. That's the poor man's Magic. Yes, that is exactly what he could be if he would, have some average ability to face up basketball, some average professional ability. And it's a strange mix, and I just but Jeff's right. Nobody's been able to have the gumption or the wherewithal or the ability to get him to do it. And I was screaming after his after his rookie year, that they should lock him in the gym for 3 hours with an armed guard for 3 hours a day, during the off season, and make him shoot the ball.
Jeff, have you heard of any reason why? I mean, is there some underlying, and I'm not joking, when it comes to mental health, because obviously that's what this is. I don't joke about that. But is there some...
He's a different dude.
Is there an event?
I remember I spent the whole day with him, his first game. He played at LSU. And we did a feature on him. And I spent a lot of time with him that day. And he is a likable kid. Now, he's a little different. Like, I don't know if it's false confidence, but he's got it. Like, he's got a lot of swagger. Like, we were playing pool that morning, and he thought he was the greatest pool player that ever lived, and was talking that way. But again, like, if you get to know him, he's actually a likable kid. I just feel like nobody's been able to really get to know him, and he does not have the greatest reputation for work ethic off the court. Off the court, not like he'll work in practice when he's there, but more getting him in the gym and working on that shot 24/7 to make him have that confidence shooting the ball. And listen, if there's anybody that should be able to get it out of him, it's Kevin Durant, right? Like, if there's anybody, maybe coaches can't do it, whether it's Brett Brown or Doc or whoever, maybe the coaches couldn't do it. But you're telling me if Kevin Durant says to Ben Simmons, hey, man, you have to shoot a 3 a game. I don't care. You have to shoot it. I'm going to yell at you when you're wide open to shoot the ball. Maybe Ben Simmons does it for a guy like
this, Jeff? How about if you're Kevin Durant, you go, listen, this is the way you have to do it. Is you go, okay, Ben, after practice, we're locking the gym. Just you and me.
Yeah.
Just you and me. That's it. Because you can't bully him into shooting during a game. He's not going to do it. But just you and me in the practice, baby steps.
He didn't get along with Embiid very well. So that dynamic was different. Yeah. So Joel could never get him to do something like that.
You're not going to get to this kid by yelling at him or, but you got to go, look, let's go to the gym, baby steps. That's the way you got to do it with this kid.
Yeah. No, I think KD's his best hope right now. And if Kevin Durant can't get to him and Steve Nash can't get to him to be able to shoot the 3, I think we're probably looking at a guy who is ultimately is what he is right now. And that's what he's going to be for the remainder of his career.
All right, guys, let's move on right now. Another player that's returning is Kawhi Leonard, 16 minutes last night. He missed a bunch of time with an ACL. Bob, do you expect this injury to hamper him at all?
Oh, obviously, I'm not a doctor. You have to be a little wary of that he won't be the exact same player that he was, but he's one of those guys who knows how to play so well. This is a consummate, intelligent, resourceful basketball player. He will figure out what he's got to work with and how to work with it as well as anyone could. That's what I think. So I think he's going to resume his status as a very important player in this league and on that team, and whether it's going to translate into exactly what it was, I don't know, but I think it's going to make them a significantly better team.
I mean, listen, we forget how good Kawhi was before he got hurt. Before he got hurt and did all the load management and all that. Like, Kawhi Leonard, you could make a case was the best player in the NBA, best two-way player at that point.
Yep.
And I mean, he is just unique because of how he approaches everything too. Doesn't care about any of the fanfare or any of that, just wants to work. Right. And I think he got a bad rap for the load management because people felt like he didn't want to play. Like, people were questioning his commitment to playing. And I think Kawhi is the opposite. I think he's completely committed, and that's all he cares about is playing ball. The question is, can this Clippers team do anything now with two guys that have they've been hurt a lot, right? I mean, between Paul George and Kawhi, you don't know. But you look at most of the NBA stars right now, and you're saying that about most of these dudes right now. Is like, are they going to be available? But I mean, here's your starting five. Is this good enough? Kawhi, after missing a year, Paul George, after missing part of the year last year, and then Reggie Jackson, Norman Powell, and Zubac. Like, that's probably your starting five. Like, maybe I'm crazy. I just don't see that starting five being a threat to win the Western Conference. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, it's 2-on-5. It's 2-on-5. I mean, you don't. Yeah, no, it's not there. They need help. I mean, he's good. I can't
believe you're disparaging the Bob Ryan's Boston College Eagles and Reggie Jackson.
Yeah, I know. I almost said Reggie who, but I mean,
Listen. So speaking out of context here, I'm very pleased with the career he's had. I was happy just that he even got in the league, and obviously he's going to retire as a rich man, and he's been a good player. Yeah. I I never
He's
understood
great coming off the bench, Bob. That's where if you Reggie Jackson as your first guard off the bench, and Norman Powell as your first wing off the bench, then you got a team that can maybe contend. I just don't think they have enough around their big two.
They could be an annoying team at night, and any given night,
It'll be good to have Kawhi back, though. Like, that'll be nice for the league.
It's just good for the league. I mean, that's the thing. That's where I'm at now. Is I like that's why with Simmons with the Nets, Cleveland get better. I just, of course I'm a Celtics fan, but I just want the games to be good.
Simmons, Davis, Anthony Davis, Kawhi.
Yes.
Like, we were without a bunch of really good players.
I like stars. I like good players, you know? Okay, you want to look good, you want to feel good. Here we go with Athletic Greens. Stuff tastes good. It's lifestyle friendly, and it contains less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, no nasty chemicals or artificial anything. And as I mentioned, the taste is right there for you. Supports better sleep and quality recovery, mental clarity and alertness. It costs you less than $3 a day. You're investing in your health, and it's cheaper than your cold brew habit. It's cheaper than getting all the different supplements yourself. Athletic Greens. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just 1 scoop and a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Visit athleticgreens.com/hoops. Okay, so Bob, was it weird to see a Blake Griffin in green?
Yeah, sure. It wasn't a name that had come into my consciousness as possible guy. We were kicking some names around before, a month ago, 2 months, and I didn't think about him. We'll see. I don't know. I don't have. He only shot. He had not a great, obviously, year last year with the Nets. But interesting thing to me, guys, was his initial reaction to coming here, and what a welcoming atmosphere and the good vibes in the locker room, and parentheses, as opposed to the dysfunctional Nets that he just left. He's going to be a happy camper in that regard. I take him, don't you guys, at his word that he will accept the role. He totally understands his lot in life now, and he respects the team that he's going to and the players, the young players that he's going to be backing up, et cetera, and that he could be a very good fit.
This was the first name I thought of, honestly, when
Gallinari.
When they needed a guy. Yeah, when they needed a front court guy, even more when Robert Williams got hurt, or even before that, because I know Robert Williams is going to get hurt. So to be honest, it was one of those where, everybody's talking Luke Cornett. And I was saying, no, you have to have a veteran here. And I think Blake has really matured. And you can see it with obviously how his game has matured. Kids these days that are, 12, 13, 14, they have no idea like what a freak Blake was. Right. Blake was like the ultimate freak, and now his body has failed him and he can't really jump. And he's turned into a guy that kind of shoots threes, plays hard, hustles, just an energy guy. If he can be that.
Takes charges. I didn't realize to the extent to which he's famed and become known for that. Which is a nice attribute to bring to a team. So, it's an interesting fit. And
he's vocal. He's vocal now. Like, I like that. And I think he's like a happy-go-lucky vocal. I always loved Blake. Seeing him since he was the first time I ever saw Blake was when he went up in AAU ball against Hasheem Thabit. and Hasheem headbutted Blake in the game. And Blake took it to him. I think he put up like 36 and 25 against Hasheem Thabit. And I remember Scott Drew, Baylor coach, was watching that game with me that day. It was in a tournament in, I think, Houston. But I really like Blake. I think, again, he'll completely accept his role to get out of Brooklyn and have a chance to maybe win a title. And, listen, we look down now And let's look at this Celtics roster. All right, let's look at it and how it's changed from the end of last year.
Right.
Okay. You're bringing in Brogdon, but you still got Smart, Jalen, Tatum, Horford, Robert Williams, Grant Williams, Pritchard, and Derek White. Those are the same. Am I missing anybody? That's 8. Top 8 are the same, correct?
Yep.
So you basically got rid of what? Daniel Tice, Neesmith, Langford. Who am I forgetting? Anybody?
It's Schroeder.
He was gone though. He was gone.
He's already gone.
Your point's well taken. The roster's better.
It's better. It's better. I mean, Tice, Neesmith, Langford for Brogdon and Blake. You take that in 2 seconds. Now you don't have Robert Williams healthy, but you never knew you were going to have Robert Williams healthy.
Yeah. No, the roster's better. Here's my thing is that, and Bob, I'll start with you on this one. Let's roll the coach into this. Okay. So now you have 34-year-old Joe Mazzulla. Blake is a year younger than him. Was there any consideration to bring in Blake because he could be a coach on the floor?
I doubt that. I doubt that.
It'll just be a locker room presence.
Well, that's what I mean. An older guy. Yes. I mean, an older guy, 33. The coach is 34.
They played against each other.
They played against it. Yeah. Oh, they did?
College.
Okay, go ahead.
College.
In college. Okay, so they know each other.
I mean, barely. But listen, the bottom line is, Blake, yes, a veteran is good with this team because if things go bad, which you could see happening early in the season, you're going to need Luke Cornett's not going to step forward. Sam Hauser's not going to step forward. You're going to need guys who have been there that are strong enough with their presence. And I think Blake Griffin can do that because Al might not be that guy, right? We know Al. He's super quiet. He may not say anything. Hey, guys, we got to stay together through this. Brogdon, super quiet. Blake has a little bit more shit to him.
You mentioned Hauser. Are you totally skeptical?
Yes, until you make any shots when the game matters, sure. I mean, he can shoot the hell out of it in practice. No, he went
4 for 5 in his, little.
Here we go. Wait. Who else? Remember a few years ago, Bob?
Yeah, I know. 8. I know. 8 of them in 1 quarter. I know.
Hey, anytime somebody does anything in preseason,
that's the ultimate tease.
All I say is Carson Edwards to Bob every time.
I know. You're right. All right. My bad. I never said New England. We never had this conversation.
No, but listen, Sam Hauser can do this. He can. Is he ever going to do this when it matters? Is Sam Hauser or Luke Cornett, are they ever going to be players that really contribute in key wins or are guys that you would actually expect to play minutes in a playoff game? Until that happens, I don't care. I'd rather see Blake Griffin.
All I know is it's only his second year. So
yes.
So how do we feel overall, though? Because if I'm a Celtic fan, and I'll ask Bob, then I'll ask Jeff, and we'll wrap it up. If I'm a Celtic fan and I'm really optimistic after the finals last year, okay? Mm-hmm. Simmons is back with the Nets. Cleveland is better, right? With the deal that's been made.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Milwaukee's healthy.
Atlanta's better.
I have a 34-year-old coach. I got Stoudemire also on the bench, okay? And Gallinari's hurt. How much of the Celtic team personality, Bob, has changed? And is it enough to me to be concerned that they won't be as good as last year?
Well, I factor in one other thing. And there's 2 things in one. One is I'm not I look at things differently than a lot of fans, I think. But we'll get to that. But secondly, the experience of any sport of almost climbing to the mountain and making the assumption, the fan make the assumption, well, they're going to do it again automatically, and then finding out it's not the case. And this is true in every sport. Just fact that they went to the finals last year doesn't automatically mean that they're going to be making the same run next year. I'm wary of that. I don't get into that at all. I always have tempered my enthusiasm. I'm cautiously optimistic. And you cited a reason. The competition is clearly improved. And one other thing we have to be honest about, and that is Milwaukee didn't have Middleton. And I mean, it's that simple. And I'm a person, I get so angry when people dismiss injury. Well, everybody has injuries, and it's an excuse. No, it's not an excuse. It's a reason. And that so Milwaukee has every reason to feel they would have beaten the Celtics if they had Middleton, in my opinion. So that you have to give them, so they're in the mix. That's all I ask, and that's all I expect. They're in the mix. They will definitely. I don't see how they won't be in the mix.
Hey, Robert, will you be staying up late tonight? Tonight is Tuesday night, and there's something on tonight at 10 o'clock Eastern time that you need to stay up for. Or you can catch it Thursday at 3 o'clock Eastern time, which might be more your speed.
I'm sorry. What?
And this is like a circle. You have to watch one of these games, Bob. You have to, okay? So either 10 o'clock tonight or Thursday at 3 o'clock Eastern time, you must clear your schedule to watch Victor Wembanyama against Scoot Henderson on ESPN2. They're playing in Vegas. Victor Wembanyama is a 7'3" Frenchman who will be the number one pick most likely next year. And he plays for a club right outside of Paris. Mm-hmm. The number 2 pick will likely be Scoot Henderson, who is a Derrick Rose-esque point guard, 6'5", who plays for G League Ignite. You might be seeing the number 1 and 2 picks next year. Every NBA team will be there in Vegas. They're playing twice, and you've got to watch these 2 kids. Have to.
All right. Well, thank you for the tip. Thank you very much.
Yep. There you go. We got it. Got it. Bob, to wrap things up here, Jeff, are you good on the Celtics? Did I cut you off? Or are you good? Have you said?
No, we're good.
Yeah. Okay. The Suns lost to, as Bob pointed out, to the Adelaide 36ers, a team in Australia.
A 7th, I just look at what's it mean? Well, but I was stunned. You expect this is going to be a perfunctory show, game, and it wasn't. It was about threes. They bombed threes. There were a couple of guys that Jeff is familiar with, Craig Randall and Robert Franks. Randall was 9 for 17 on threes, and Franks was 6 for 10 on threes. But I could see, if they lost to a notable team or a first place team or somebody you heard of, but the Adelaide 36ers, by the way, the 36ers refers to the fact that the colony of South Australia was proclaimed on the 28th of December, 1836. Hence the nickname. In case anybody's asking.
Who's in the crowd? You know who's in the crowd watching the game, right, Bob? Andrew Gaze.
Andrew Gaze, yes, I love Andrew.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I had his acquaintanceship over a couple of tournaments. He was fun to be around. Yeah. Anyway, the Suns, I had to stun the Suns. The score was 134, 124. Suns didn't guard, and I'm sure they're not going to get stressed over it. It was a nice little, but just I'm sure it brightened the day for all those folks down there in Adelaide. I'll say that.
And to wrap it up, it's a good day to be Tyler Herro when a guy like that, it's a good player, makes $130 million. Jeff Goodman, your thoughts?
Oh, I'm almost speechless on that. And I like Tyler Herro. He's a good player, but that is a shit ton of money to give to Tyler Herro right now if you're Pat Riley. But listen, a lot of times right now, if you don't give it to him, you're going to lose him and get nothing for him in a few years. So you got to, again, you got to try to keep this group together if you're Miami. And Herro is talented. But that's a lot of money.
And don't dismiss Miami in this discussion we were having earlier.
Exactly. Right. That's right.
Never sleep on Miami.
No, you're right. You're right. Guys, always a pleasure. Bob, we'll talk to you again next week. Jeff, we'll see you again next week.
This episode of the Bob Ryan and Jeff Goodman podcast brought to you by Athletic Greens. Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase.